Quotations from myself, segment 42, quotation number 503. Unlike their less enlightened cousins, still populating what is left of nature, the human animal feel compelled to justify their decisions and actions based on them. And it has to be acknowledged that through the long evolutionary process, they have perfected this ultimately self-serving skill to a remarkable degree. As a consequence, any attempt by however well-intentioned others to convince an average man or woman that their decision or action are wrong is almost invariably an exercise in futility. And it is only when they themselves are either ready or have no other choice but to start anew because of the unforeseen and unfortunate results of their previous decisions and actions, can people look back at them with more or less impartial eyes and admit, however reluctantly, having been wrong. The new hopes make confession of the old sins not only easier but necessary. 504. Many a poet, both in the past and especially in the present, writes as if following unknowingly the advice Cicero gave to Atticus. Even if nothing enters your head to write about, write anyhow. 505. The consumptions, either direct or indirect, ever growing both in quantity and in variety, seems to be the only real justification for life in America. And now apparently to increasing degree in the rest of the world. 506. Never before in human history have so many people proclaimed so forcefully openly their individuality and insisted on having almost absolute freedom to do their own things, and yet at the same time display such impressive uniformity in the way they feel, sing, speak, dress, etc., etc., etc. 507. Oh, the cruel irony of finally having freedom and suddenly forgetting what you want to do with it. 508. Man is not only the most social of all animals, but also the most flexible one. That is why, given the approval of society at large, or any subgroup he is part of, man can adjust to and be comfortable with the most bizarre and perverted behavior, as long as the majority of the society or of his special subgroup either engage into it or accept it as normal. 509. If the world is truly a stage where every man must play a part, then the overwhelming majority of performers I have seen are very bad actors indeed. 510. Do not blame the fate. Just try to avoid the unavoidable. No. Do not blame the fate. Just try to avoid the avoidable. 511. Only those survive the injustice who accept its inevitability. 512. I have always felt deep inside me, instinctively perhaps, that there is something inherently vulgar in any act of selling and buying. but selling is buying of the works of art strikes me as being downright obscene. 5.13. The only way, if any, to cure the dominant nationalistic majority from its racism is to make it feel how it is to be on the receiving end of prejudice. For the empirical essence of human nature prevents us from the true understanding and consequent empathy with what we have not experienced personally. 5.14. A lot of what one is ostensibly saying while conversing with others is basically thinking aloud and talking to oneself. 5.15. Life of a man is an endless search for a kindred spirit. 5.16. There is a stamp of our personality on everything we feel, everything we think, everything we do. Looked at a close range, each one of us is remarkably self-consistent. 5.17. The knowledge that one has been treated unfairly gives at least a consolation of not having to blame oneself for our misfortunes. 5.18. Nobody had asked me if or when I wanted to come into this world, and nobody is going to tell me if and when I may leave it. 5.19. People are judged just as much, if not more, by how they do it as by what they do. For whether we are aware of it or not, our aesthetic objection offer outweigh the moral ones. Then, if it is true, humanity, in all fairness, should be given more credit for its high aesthetic standards and at the same time to be more forcefully rebuked for its lower moral ones. But this, of course, depends on one's very personal feeling and notions of what is more important, both in general sense and in each particular situation. 5.20. The entire modern art is essentially the monstrous outgrowth of the powerful but ultimate futile desire not to repeat what others had done before, especially one feel unable, for whatever reason, to do it as well as they did. 5.21. By creating a work of art, be it a painting or a poem or a piece of music, which has no clear, definite meaning, one can rest more or less assured that he hasn't repeated what somebody else have done before, because meaninglessness comes in almost infinite variety of forms, while meaningfulness has only a few, in the same way as there is limitless number of wrong answers to any particular question, but seldom more than one which is right. 5.22. While few of us are able to have the life we wish, many can refuse to live the way they don't want to. And those who manage to succeed in doing that should be also grateful, for it is not a small feat for anyone to accomplish. 5.23. Many paradoxes and mystery of human life are the artificial constructs of mind stubbornly refusing to accept that man is as much a part of nature as plants and animals are, and as such does not deserve any more consideration from or any special place in it. 524. In the struggle between nature and civilization, although it appears at the present moment that the latter is getting the upper hand, the final outcome is by no means certain yet. And, if judged by the fate of the extinct species of yesterday, nature will continue on long after the last traces of man disappear from the face of the planet Earth. 525. When you ask others to understand and to have empathy with you, isn't it in essence the same as asking them to live and to suffer, if only vicariously, through what you had to? Through what you had to. For how else can they gain understanding and to be filled with empathy? Therefore, do not be so insensitive or even cruel to wish so unintentionally that others experience your pain, for they surely have plenty of their own, which you too in turn can neither understand nor have empathy with, unless it is the same as yours. 526. The unquenchable thirst for justice, the insatiable hunger for truth. These are the redeeming qualities that keep humanity from self-destruction by its murderous instinct. 527. The industrial will work hard, even if paid little. The lazy, no matter how much they are paid, would put their best effort into avoiding work. Clearly, people tend to behave in a manner which is natural to them, unless, of course, they are forced to do otherwise. So why do we all maintain the myth of material rewards being the best stimulus for hard work?